Good morning, and as always, welcome to our DNet studio. Today we're talking about electric windlass control systems, and more specifically, how to install a remote control by yourself. Why do I need a remote control if I already have a control panel or foot switches? Good question, but I'll answer you with another question. And what if you were alone, either by choice or by circumstance? Say your crew isn't feeling well and you needed to anchor without being able to leave the cockpit or the helm. That's when, in a situation like this, the remote control becomes an essential safety system for both your crew and your boat. Obviously, that's an extreme case, but more simply, in Greece it's common to anchor even in port, and having the remote control in the cockpit makes docking maneuvers much easier. I say in the cockpit just like I would say at the helm for a motorboat. Luckily for you, it's not at all difficult to install a remote for the windlass. Let's use Valila as an example, which is a 44-foot sailboat, but the process is the same even on a motorboat. The important thing is that the windlass for raising the anchor is electric. I'm assuming you already know what a windlass is. If not, check the description where you'll find links to the previous video about windlasses and their accessories, like the foot switches. The remote control for the windlass is an electronic device that allows you to operate the windlass from a distance, a mechanical and electrical system used to raise and lower a boat's anchor. The remote control for the windlass is used to simplify anchor operations, allowing the crew to maneuver more efficiently and safely without needing to be physically close to the anchor itself. In this way, the remote control offers greater flexibility and increased safety for the crew during mooring and anchor lifting operations, helping to improve efficiency and safety since we don't have to be near the chain. Remember that the anchor winch can be dangerous, as it moves significant weights. The remote control for the windlass can be placed in various locations on board the boat. In general, the remote control is installed in a spot that is easily accessible and protected from the elements. Always remember to check the range of the remote control before deciding where to place it. Among the most common places where the windlass remote control is installed is the helm station, which for motorboats is the most typical location, as it allows the crew to operate the windlass directly from the boat's steering position. In the case of a sailboat, the cockpit, that is the aft area of the boat where the helm and navigation instruments are located, is a common spot. Please, once you've used the remote control, turn it off and always put it back in the place you've chosen for it. This way, you'll avoid someone accidentally activating it by stepping on it, or even worse. The windlass system is made up of several parts that work together to control the lowering and raising of the anchor. The main parts of the windlass system include the remote control, which is the handheld device that allows you to raise and lower the anchor from a distance. The receiver is the component of the system that receives the signals sent by the remote control and transmits them to the windlass control system. It can be installed near the system itself or in a strategic location on the vessel to ensure adequate coverage. The windlass motor is the component of the system that actually raises and lowers the anchor. It is powered by electricity, in our case, and can be controlled by the windlass control system in a precise and gradual manner. The power circuit, on the other hand, is the electrical circuit that supplies power to the windlass motor and the components of the control system. It is protected by fuses and switches that ensure the safety of the system itself. The first thing to do is to make sure that there is no power going to the windlass. Check and, if necessary, disconnect the line. Let's assume the boat is medium-sized. Whether it's a sailboat or a motorboat doesn't really matter, as the installation is often very similar. By taking a look at your system, you'll see that your windlass is powered by very thick cables coming from the service batteries or from a battery dedicated to the windlass itself. These cables go into the relay or solenoid contactor, which, in addition to handling the significant current spikes required by the windlass, also controls the direction of the motor's rotation. Then there are the control cables. The central one is simply connected to ground, but the other two allow us to choose the direction of rotation. If we supply power to one of them, the motor turns in one direction, and if we supply it to the other, it'll turn in the opposite direction. To install the control box, which is the component of the system that receives the signals sent by the remote control and transmits them to the windlass control system, we proceed as follows. There are two thick input cables, which come from the battery, and two thick output cables, which go to the motor. Basically, what we're going to do today is carefully connect the specific control box provided in our comprehensive kit so that it's properly powered through the red and black cables connected directly to the battery terminals. Each of the control box's individual control cables will be securely connected to each of the corresponding control lines. These two specific wires are the main power supply. These other two, to keep it very simple for this demonstration, are for the up and down movements, and this wire here is the antenna for the signal. These are the two primary cables coming from the batteries. These are the cables going directly to the motor, these are the main lines, and this is the ground for the up and down functions, which in this particular case are brought over to this side. We do this because we find the integrated foot switch, which is located back here, and these are the two pedals that allow the unit to go up. Now we're performing a thorough connection test to ensure everything is working perfectly. Now I'm carefully establishing a connection to the positive terminal and the corresponding negative lead. The results are currently negative and everything looks clear. Let's perform a quick test right now to see which one is the in and which one is the out. The provided instructions only show line and line, and that's absolutely it. So let's test it out for ourselves. This could potentially be the in. The situation might potentially be the way out. Okay, and now that we have everything ready, we really need to focus on setting it up properly with all of the right cables and connectors. We must carefully put every single component in its correct place to ensure it works perfectly. And you should always remember to turn it off completely from the main power switch immediately after you finish using it for the day. We will now change these specific parts to put them right here in this new position with the others, making sure that everything is aligned exactly as it should be for the best possible performance. With the primary objective being to ensure that everything proceeds exactly as planned and intended. This specific piece can securely snap in right over on top, and this other part can snap in right here. And that's it. This way, when we press the out button on one of the remotes, the white wire will have 12 volts and the chain will lower, while when we press the in button, the yellow wire will get its 12 volts and the anchor will be raised. If it works the other way around, it means you wired it backwards, so just swap the cables. As we've seen, installing the remote control wasn't difficult. If you have any doubts about the windlass and want to replace it, I'll leave a link in the description to the video about what it is, how it works, and how to choose an electric windlass, as well as a video on how to replace and use the windlass control panel. The final step is to test the system to make sure the remote control works properly and that the windlass responds to the commands sent from the remote. During the test, it's important to pay attention to the audio and visual signals provided by the system to identify any errors or communication problems. As always, I want to remind you that if you think you need a hand, you can rely on the experts at eynelson.com and book a free consultation at the link in the description. Subscribe and turn on notifications, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, and fair winds, not too little, not too much, but just right.